let there be light, and there was light. Okay, hinging on to the famous words of the God, the said God of Genesis chapter 1, of course, the said God of Genesis, the said God of creation. We are talking about Mother Eve. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, of course, this is where we are dissecting, you could say, the scriptures of Genesis chapter 1, and we are talking about the Holy Bible, King James Version of the Holy Bible. Yes, of course, we are meticulous about the Bibles that we use. Okay, but simply because it's a numerical construct, and we believe that it is that Bible that has shaped us. You know, everything has been constructed or structured on the basis of the principles of those Bibles. Now, I don't even think so much the principles. I think the mathematical equations of the Bible, and that is my take on it. And I really want to understand more about those numerical constructs, and how, of course, to learn how to use those to our advantages, and of course leave what does not serve us anymore. Okay, now that's being said, we have discovered the sacredness of the number 7. We have seen how the number 7 has showed in the in 9, in fact 9 of the words of the acts of the gods. So 9 gods. So basically in those 9 gods, they have there's a construct. We could see how the construct of number 7 came about. What we did was we added all the numerical the number of the letters, rather we added the number of the letters, and that came to 47. 47, no, was it 47? 43. So we have 43 letters. 43 letters. When we add these together, it became 7. Then we also did another numerical value, where we saw that if we added the 5 entries, or the 5 gods here, for instance, move, said, saw, divided, and called, because why we did this 5, so we could see how 5 came about here. We are talking about the numbers, which is 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Of course, all these are repeated here again. This is 4, this is 6, this is 4, this is 4. So we had, when we added these now, we saw that we also had 25 letters, and of course 2 plus 5 is 7. So basically we got in this construct that I have been talking about. I have talked about the 2 sets of 7 gods, or we could say there were 9 gods in Genesis of chapter 1 and 5 gods in Genesis of chapter 2, but 9 and 5 is 14. Of course, 14, 2 sevens are 14. And we see that they had to come together in this sense for us to make sense of our world, knowing that, of course, there are these 2 sets of 7. That's the makeup of the gods within us. When we add these together now, 7 and 7 plus 14, 1 plus 4, it as 14 equals 5. And we can see, so right here, we can see that the 5 gods, it's like 5 gods have showed here. The 5 gods showing up in these numbers here, however, still have a way of expressing themselves in 7 in the character. So the characters, as I say, we have looked at move, for instance. We see that the M is really like that which we could form an 8-petal flower. We see the O is right there, and of course we could see all these points like the V's, if we want to say that, of looking at the separateness or division. we see E is also there. Now, if we take the D, for instance, D is dividing. This is 4. This has a numerical value of 4. And of course, we have 4 petal flowers here in that 8 petal flowers. So basically, the word moved in it is really telling us that it is, while it is complete, as I have showed that 4 also is 8, because when we do the numerical value for the word 8, E-I-G-H-T, it equals 31, which is 5, 9, 7, 8, 2. Adding this together, this is 10, this is 26, and 6 is 31. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So you can see how 8 is also 4, and because it is that foundation, it is set. Okay, so that's why it is important for us to get an understanding of the makeup of these numbers and letters that has shaped our lives so profoundly. Now, for me, of course, I think it makes sense to do that, because when I'm looking at numbers now, I don't necessarily look at numbers as being greater or lesser in the sense of how we have been taught it, but otherwise is that I think it is, for me, it's about looking at the functions of those numbers. It's the functions and how dynamic they are in our makeup as well. So we have seen that happen here. And of course, like the number 9, when we do the numerical value for number 9, it turns to 6. But we are talking about 9 functions here. So 9, of course, is the delivery date, you could say, the month of delivery. And here we have 9 entries. So in these 9 entries, of course, we see we have the total of 43 letters, which equals 7. 7, we see that 7 is whole, 7 is 1. So there is one creation happening here. But in that one creation happening here, we have also seen that it has we also were able to look at the first 3 functions, which is all the gods, the God of movement, the God who spoke, and the God who saw. And so it's like we can see there was movement, there was speech, and there was soaring, there's action, and or sight, or what, however we want to see that soul. Okay, but there's a W in the word saw, and the word saw in itself is telling us as a saw that there would be some there is a division taking or separation here. So even in these 2, which is movement and the said, and I do like to, as I have enclosed, an ID there. Okay, but the W gives us that it's like a reflection. It's telling of a reflection right there. Of course, following the divide, the word divide here, and giving it a name. After it has been divided, you need to be able to make a distinction and say, is it the left one or the right one? Is it up or down? Is it Eve or is it Adam? Whatever. So divide is being, and then when you have divided, there is a calling, and there, of course, Mother Eve steps in again, and then there is something when Mother Eve says, well, let there be a firmament, or let there the waters, and then we have the God who made. And of course, making or having something, it has to be called again. But Mother Eve is the supervisor here. She is the Lord there. And we see that in Genesis of chapter, I think it is in chapter 2 now, after Mother Eve have, of course, allocated all these contracts to the gods, to the other gods, which is 13 gods or 14 gods, we could say here. But Mother Eve is one of the gods, so she allocates to the 13 gods. Here we see the number 13, which is why 13 goes into the incubator. Mother Eve is the said God which is the God of words, the God of wisdom, the God of light, the God, the orchestrator. So basically the number 6 right there is that Mother Eve is the mother, of course. And as I say, the word 6 is that which is that like the pregnant woman. So she's ready. She really gives its birth to the other gods as well, or give birth to the other ideas. And so it's almost like a sperm cell as well. Of course, I don't know, I can't really draw a sperm cell, but it does remind me of one somehow. Okay. And oh, I'm sure I can draw a sperm cell, but I'm not going to right now. I said, okay. I think it's something like, it's a wiggly worm, or it's a wiggly something. Okay, that's a sperm cell. All right. Okay. So we have this here. We have seen that there are 3. We have divided this in 3 segments, and in these 3 we had this number 8, because instead of having, I think it was 8 we had, so that would be 15, 16, 17. So they all came to 17. So basically 9, those 9 acts here all equaled 17 after having done them in different segments. So we have covered that. We covered this. It was something like this, the 3 again and 3 again. So we had 4 here, and we had 9 here, and it was 3 here. Okay, 3. Let's see if that adds up. So this would be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I'm thinking there is somewhere we have, so this would have perhaps be 5 and not, yeah, so 5 perhaps, but we had 17. Okay, so well, that comes to 17 anyway. Okay. And so we have seen how 17, of course, is that which sets. So there is a pattern. Everything, all of this was in the number 8 right here. All of this. So that's what we have covered here. We have seen how 17, so as the God word is right there as well. And we also see how number 7 showed up in 2 places here, how number 20, 25 and 43. So we see the 7 showed up and 8 showed up. Okay, we also had 5 showed up here, because we have looked at those 5 letters, those 5 gods right there, which is including Mother Eve. We also saw that Mother Eve showed up 3 places in this, like it would be just like in 369, 369, 369. So Mother Eve is present in those 369 as on the template. What I do want to continue here is that we have also looked at, I'm looking at my card here, so the amount, yes, this is, let's concentrate on Mother Eve here. So the amount of entries of Mother Eve's presence in Genesis of chapter 1 is actually 10. So again, we saw that number 10 coincides with Mother Eve saying, "Let there be light," and there was light. So the first word, which is 3 letters, all 3 letters, coincide with 10. When we did this, we added LET, which is 3, again 3, 5, 2. Adding this together gave us 10. So Mother Eve is really 1. So all many of the presentations that I have been doing, I had been seeing that Mother Eve is 5 and 6, and of course we have done 7 as the serpent. But we can see how the Mother Eve is really the orchestrator of creation. So Mother Eve is all the numbers, but it's just where she makes herself more visible. She's a typical serpent, we could say. You don't always see it, or you may hear a little rustle in the on the dry leaves, but you do not see the serpent. The serpent is not always of course, because of our mode of attention, the serpent is always present, but our mode of attention is not always there to see that the serpent is perhaps just really quiet and just having a little snooze. So here with 10, Mother Eve is present in 10 entries, but there is in adding or getting to see the pattern of what we were doing, we saw that in dividing them as 3 sections each, so we ended up with having 7. No, there are more than 7. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 entries. Yes, 10 entries where Mother Eve is as divided in the 3 segments of entries. So that is really 30. So out of 31, because there's the last entry is the word saw, S-A-W, but then we have 3 we have let's see, 10 sets. 10 sets, again we are using set. So 10 sets, the word set is 8. So 10 eights are 80, meaning there would be 8. So this is what we are talking about. There's the creation here in that 9 here as well, because the word 9 and the word and the number 9, the number 9 and 8 actually have a very close relationship, because the letter I equals 9, and it also, when we use the word I, for instance, it equals 8. So basically 8 and 9 shares the same relationship here. So so the word said, this said God, this is what we are talking about. The said God is mentioned 10 times in 10 entries that we have made, but actually it's not in 10 entries, it's in 9 entries. But on the 5th, so 9 entries, of course, which falls like number from 1 to 9. There again we are seeing the said God makes herself, her presence really felt there. So just to ensure that I've got this correct, I'm just going to go over this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it's 10, and I am sensing there is one part of this where the said God, on Genesis of chapter 1 verse 28, 128 is very crucial. This is where God blessed Adam and Eve, or blessed them, when he says, and God blessed them. So the blessing that God did in this paragraph is there, God blessed them, and God blessed them. And then there's a comma, and it says, and God said, behold, I have given you all fruit-bearing trees, whatever it is, and the long list goes on. So basically, in that paragraph, the God of blessing and Mother Eve appeared in that same paragraph, in one paragraph, which is where this is written to really delude the reader in thinking that they are the same God, but they are not the same God. They are not the same God here. And God blessed is one God, and God said is another God. These are the things that has given us this kind of confusion, because the God who to bless, for instance, is that we have the B, which is the number 13, which is the incubator. When people agree on things, they form a B, and that was what had happened there. So that God, he blessed Adam and Eve. He, meaning that is to be blessed. That is in the past, like something is taken and something is replaced. So be like, it's L-L-E-S-E-D. And so when God blessed them, which is them equals 10 as well, because God created them. This is another thing we need to know. He created he, him, he, her, and he, them, and so on. So God created them, or he blessed them. So these are the things that, again, is written in a way to confuse people. He blessed them. It may not have been that he blessed every creature that was the he, him, and the he, them, and the female and the male, but it said he blessed them. We have to be mindful that this was not in the way that we have been construed or making sense of these terminologies. So he blessed them. There was whatever was taken and replaced, because then Mother Eve, the said God, steps in and says, it says, and God blessed them, but Mother Eve said, behold. There Mother Eve comes with another B, behold, H-O-L-D. She is more or less saying to them, hold to what I have given you. Behold, I have given you. She's saying, be this. Be meaning 7. 7 is 1. I have done this on the other presentation. 7 is 1, or 1 is 7. She's reminding them to say, behold, I have given you all. Again, the word all is 3, 3, 1. This also equals 7. So this is everything repeats itself to get to be a set. To be set, it has to have a reflection. So everything that is set, there's a reflection of it. So there Mother Eve is saying, which is the serpent, which is 7. This is where the craftiness comes in. The word serpent, there she is being present. So serpent is 7. And Mother Eve is being present there. Behold, she's saying, I have given you all fruit-bearing tree that have its seed in it after its kind. So she's saying, hold. In the word hold has the word old. O-L-D. So wherever was being blessed, it's like whatever or less, the old was coming back. There was a cycle happening here. Of course, the 8 that represents the letter H is telling us about this cycle here again. So old is 6, 3, 4. Adding this together, this is where old is number 13. Right here. Right here, this is 13. This is reflecting that B again. It's reflecting the B. If we add this together, 4 plus 8, that equals 12. Of course, we had talked about 12, where we saw 12, the word 10. 10 we are talking about. When we do the numerical value for 10, it equals 12. 5 plus 5 plus 2 equals 12. So here, 12 is being, there Mother Eve is saying, behold. Behold is like be 10. She's more or less saying be 10 right here. I have given you all fruit bearing. Be 12. B10, B1, B all, be all, B1, because when we do the numerical value for 1, it equals 7. So I hope you get the essence of this. So these were very rich instructions that we were given there, but we were not given the instructions of how to understand this, because this is where we think we have learned that we need to suffer to be able to enjoy life, or to be able to feel abundant, to be able to feel that we deserve everything. But no, Mother Eve really had given us everything. That's what a mother does. She gives you everything. And she really said, okay, you have been blessed. This is the thing people go about saying, bless you, or be less, or blessed, and all of this. Like sneezing. The mere fact that you sneeze and someone says bless you, and you say thank you, it's like something had gone out and then something is returned. Something goes out when you see you sneeze. It's a powerful air that bursts out, but then you get the attention and energy returning back to you and say bless you, meaning it reminds you that something had been taken away. It's connecting on that, and when you say thank you, you are taking in something else. That's why Mother Eve is saying, yes, behold, I have given you, I have given. I meaning 9. She is saying the letter I, for instance. I is really, whether you wanted to see it as the word I. So on I is really, so I is 9, equals 9, or equals 9, or you could have EYE, which is 5, 7, 5, adding this together is 17. And that as well is whole, because that's what, in fact, 8. This is what we had on behold. The letter 8, of course, is really telling you, the H is saying behold. That's what Mother Eve really wants us to know. So there is quite a lot for us to digest here, but Mother Eve had 10 of these entries where it is said, or in particularly in chapter 1, as I say, chapter 1, and that's the only place we see that it is not the capital and that happens here, because in all of the other 9 entries it's saying and God said. And God said. When we hear of God said, we are talking about the God of speech, the God of language. That's Mother Eve. That's Mother Eve. But that was where it's really letting us know that the God, the mother, really came in and interjected and saying, behold, I have given you all fruit-bearing tree that have its seed in it after its kind. Okay, I might be paraphrasing here, but I'm hoping you get that. This is the place where, this is where we, the seed of abundance. This is really the seed of abundance. This is where we were given this seed to say, to multiply, to replenish, to subdue, to have dominion, to increase, to and you know, we had those were, there were 5 there were 5 gifts at that stage. So we see how 5 is transpiring there again, and 5 transpired here as well. And 5, of course, it'd be also interesting to see, yeah, we only have one word with 5, which is moved here as well. But of course, and we see that 5 has double in the amount of entries of Mother Eve's presence in chapter 1 of Genesis chapter chapter 1 of Genesis. Okay, so this is where Mother Eve, of course, and if we do like it's 10 entries, 10 fours, actually, yeah, because the word said is of 4 letters, and I'm adding these two, so 4 tens are 40. There we see that 4 is foundational. And if you check the presentations I have done before before these ones, we see how 40, or the number 4, is foundation. I have showed that as in number 2, and the word for number 2, the word 2 actually equals 13. Again, there's where the incubation happens as well, and to form the foundation of creation. Yes, so I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have found this delicious as I have. It's really mouth-watering, believe you me. It's just, yes, I'm really enjoying this. I began exploring these entries about 3 years ago, and I thought I've got to take some time and really study this, but I had not realized that they were really gods. I thought that they were different. I saw them as different acts, but not as the gods. But they are the gods, the functions of the different gods. Okay. So do join me again as we continue to explore this subject on the acts of the gods of Genesis. And I think this is about the 4th one I have done now, which would be D at the end of it. So, okay. And yes, so wonderful. Let there be light, and there was light. Namaste.